And listen, I'm just a tiny cog in the media wheel. 1.4 million listeners in a country with a population of 60 million. I'm not under any illusions about how much difference I can make to any given issue. But I do think it's part of a broader process. And if you talk about it, you almost validate it. But I do increasingly wonder whether we've got that wrong over the years, Because this is just gross. I mean, this is beyond gross. This is one of the most disgusting things I can imagine anybody saying in public. You know? It's up there with Holocaust denial, isn't it? Claiming that a school massacre was faked and that grieving parents years later, a decade later, are actors pretending to have lost children who actually never existed. That might be part of the reason we never really got stuck into it, because it was impossible for me to conceive of people who might take it seriously. But if you've been following this trial, you will know that people not only took it seriously, but took it so seriously that they ended up harassing and abusing and even threatening to kill the parents of children who were murdered. And this man Jones continues to appear on his broadcasts, casting himself as the victim. We've done a lot in recent years about things like anti-vaccine conspiracies, or about, we did a bit on QAnon, although again, the idea that there's a secret cabal of Satanists who are killing children in order to feast upon their blood was so bonkers, I found it hard to credit anyone believing it. And then along comes January the 6th, to which that QAnon theory was a large contributor, if not the key contributor. So do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, normal people, is that a phrase I can use? Normal people, normal journalists, people who reflect reality, report controversy, deal with disagreement, debate complicated issues. You shouldn't really extend that invitation to the absolute scum peddling theories like this, should you? I genuinely don't know. I'm 50. I've been doing this job for the best part of 2 decades, and part of me is quite enervated by the idea that that my modus operandi might need to be completely reviewed. That fairly big decisions I've taken over the years might have been completely wrong. I genuinely don't know. I'm genuinely in a complete state of flux on this, because if everybody had talked about this scumbag in terms from the moment he poked his hideous head above the parapet, maybe it wouldn't have taken 10 years for him to be taken down. Of course, instead, people like me ignored him, and people like Farage, when Alex Jones said jump, people like Farage said how high. 6 times he appeared on this broadcast. So George says, I'm fascinated by the morons who follow Alex Jones. It makes me frightened of humans. I couldn't agree more. I just wouldn't use the word morons. As with the anti-vax stuff, it's lazy to think they're all morons. Some of them are grifters who've moved on from one farrago of nonsense that proved popular with credulous people, and they've just adopted another one. They've now got another tub to thump. But they're not morons, the people who fall for it, any more than all the people who voted for Brexit are morons or racist. It's just not true or fair, and it's lazy of people like me and you, George, to conclude that people we don't understand must be morons. People join cults, clever people, educated people, intelligent people join cults all the time, end up believing the world's going to end a week on Tuesday.